And we are live, it seems like. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this wonderful Tuesday when we are launching the Internet Computer Chain Fusion Educate series powered by Encode Club. This is the first event over the next 4 weeks, where we will focus on ICP's newest technology called Chain Fusion. If some of you probably already know me, if you don't, my name is Nevin. I'm an operations manager at the Encode Club, and I will be your main point of contact at Encode over the next 4 weeks regarding everything related to this particular series, which means that if you're having any questions, if you can't find the recordings, if you're wondering when the next workshop is taking place, feel free to reach out to me on any of the channels listed on the screen, so Twitter or Discord or email. All of it is perfectly fine. A little bit about Encode Club. I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure many of you are already seasoned members of our community, but we are a community of developers, professionals, and talented students in emerging tech, specifically the Web3 space and artificial intelligence. We do this through different kinds of educational programs, which we organize, and we also offer talent services to place all of you wonderful people in different jobs in the space. Specifically, we do this through educational series, which this one specifically is one. We also do hackathons, we also do accelerators, we also do boot camps, and like I said, we also do recruitment. And so far, in the last couple of years, since Encode has been working, about 500,000 developers have passed through our ecosystem, and we couldn't be prouder, any more proud of that fact. This specific education series starts today, like we said, and we will have about 7 workshops total. There might be an announcement coming for another workshop or 2, but that's, don't hold your breath for now. That's something to be revealed in the future. For now, we have 7 for sure. The first one is today, an introduction to Chain Fusion and ICP by our own Eomji Park. Then in 2 days' time, on Thursday, we are doing a bit of technical workshop on the same topics with a technical dive into Chain Fusion by Dieter Sommer from the DFINITY Foundation. And then next week, from next week onwards, we're going to focus on a couple of different topics related to Chain Fusion. First up, on Thursday at 5:30 p.m. BST, we will focus on how to build a secure oracle on EVMs. During this same time slot, only half an hour later, Anton Pechurkin from B4B World is joining us for some influencers and Coel's reputation protocol, where he's going to dive into how Chain Fusion can be utilized with marketing efforts. The week following that, on Tuesday, the 11th of June, we are focusing on the Universal Multi-Chain Bridge powered by DSE, which is basically a threshold ECDSA. And then after that, we are transitioning into other spaces, other kinds of blockchain technologies, specifically SocialFi, on Thursday, 13th of June, with Louis Lewis. Let's build a Bitcoin SocialFi on ICP. And then finally, on Thursday, the 20th of June at 5:30 p.m. BST, we're going to hold a workshop titled Creating Multi-Chain DAOs with the Internet Computer. But more on that later on. Right now, I don't want to dwell on any of this too much because we want to kick off our next workshop. But before we start that, I'll just invite you to join our Discord server, because this is where the bulk of our communication with all of you will be happening. This is where all the recordings will be posted, where all the announcements will be posted, where you should be if you're looking to get the latest announcements about the Educate series. That was just a quick intro from my side as your point of contact, but I think it's time for us to delve into the meat of the program, which is what all of us have been waiting for. So I would like to invite to the stage Eomji Park, our own head of research and operations, for the first official workshop of this series, Introduction to Chain Fusion and ICP. Hi, Eomji.
Hey, hello everyone. Good to see everyone here. Let me just share my screen. 1 second. So, can you see my screen?
Yes, we're good to go.
Lovely. Thank you very much for a kind introduction. So everyone, welcome to the Chain Fusion Education Series and the nice first workshop with me. I'm Eomji from Encode Club. Perhaps some of you already met me at different conferences and everything. But for those who didn't meet yet, so I am in general in charge of meeting a lot of you around the world, supporting you throughout your journey of developer. So perhaps you saw me in different hackathons and accelerator giving tips or giving some guidance. This weekend I will be at ETH Prague judging there. So if you're around, please let me know. I personally, coming from the mechanical engineering with a control theory background, jumping into the blockchain after embedded work, and now having a lot of fun learning things, bits here and there, and supporting developers around the ecosystems. Let's get into the topic. So first thing first. As Nevin just mentioned, we are from Encode Club, collaborating with a lot of ecosystem projects in internet computer and DFINITY Foundation. You might be wondering what is the DFINITY and what is ICP, especially if you're new to the ecosystem. So DFINITY is a Zurich-based nonprofit organization founded in 2016. Over 1,600 publications with more than 100,000 citations has been made, which just proves that DFINITY has one of the largest R&D team in the blockchain industry. So if you're a computer science student or interested in cryptography, there's a chance that you may bump into some of their papers or you were researching with them. One of the examples is I'm affiliated to Technical University of Munich, and I know there are a few students writing a thesis around. So DFINITY has very strong research background there. You will have a chance to meet several of DFINITY team members or ecosystem project team members through this program, so either remotely or you may meet some of them in person in coming weeks as well, because the DFINITY team gonna have a lot of presence across different conferences. So please try to seize that opportunity, talk to core engineers and researchers in the ecosystem. So DFINITY is the foundation behind. So what is the internet computer? So the internet computer extends the vision of the early internet pioneers. I actually attended one of the talks of the Emma Parity, another a member of the DFINITY Foundation, initially coming from Web2 background with a cool story of her growing up with all different computer technology since young, So they're extending that vision. Who saw the internet as a tool of freedom, just sharing the information. Why not enabling this utilizing blockchain, which is going to give us some security promises, and we can have a different computations in secure manner. So not only just having internet, we can have some aspect of decentralization, and also that decentralization not coming with the sacrifice in computing power, but why not having certain architecture, which we're going to go through soon as well, like canister and so on, so that you have a very strong computation power behind blockchain. Some of you might be quite new to the blockchain overall, so you might be wondering what is the internet computer and all the other bits. So blockchain evolution a little bit look like this. So the Bitcoin, which is the first blockchain, perhaps a lot of you may heard of, introduced the concept of the public ledger without a single point of trust, which is a revolution itself, how we think about these transactions and trust. So that is the point of starting of this communication or conversation all over the blockchain itself. And then Ethereum is the like coming after, which took it a step further by adding smart contracts on top of the blockchain. So it allows some arbitrarily code execution on the blockchain. We can create some decentralized application and using like a much more complex like transactions over that, like setting some conditions and so on. But here comes that like why Ethereum getting popular. We see that like there's some challenges in scalability and the gas fee going up. So now everyone sit down and start to think what's next. Of course, there's a different way to solve those problems. One is, of course, if you see that like a EVM ecosystem, there's a lot of people either building, side chain or like people also trying like sharded architecture or try to build in rollups and so on. The other thing is we can also achieve scalability by building a new L1 with either new consensus or different types of architecture, or like a different level of decentralization and scalability and everything. So Internet Computer is the 3rd generation blockchain. It represents the, one of the like 3rd generation coming with a very noble idea in terms of like how it's built. We're gonna look into the like key features of it, so they're like what makes it different and why this is relevant with the Chain Fusion itself. For now, I would say think Internet Computer as a kind of scalable virtual computer. There's a reason why this is Internet Computer, So it's a crypto cloud that combines the security of blockchain and the scalability of the cloud. And because we kind of merge them, it's giving us very powerful features to make amazing apps on top of it. So let's look into that. So there's a different architecture of the Internet Computer you can look into. And to be honest, each topic can be a very deep topic you need to jump into. So I'm going to go into like super detail. While I'm explaining bits, I will also drop some links that you can go to the relevant workshop, which has been done previous time. Last November, we had a like 0 to DApp educate series with the ICP team. Maybe some of you already attended. At that time, we went to like, ICP in depth, canister, internet identity, all those bits. Exactly, GM or GM. Okay, we're gonna provide like some links as well. That there's several projects which has been using ICP and also within the ICP using Chain Fusion. So you can look into them, and some of them you're gonna actually meet through this education series because they're gonna be showcasing how they are using the tech. And then also like as we already had an education series about like several topics, like let's say HTTP out calls or like canisters, I'm gonna drop the link so you can watch. But today we will go over those in high level. So of course, Internet Computer itself is like decentralized infrastructure we are using. So they're like you can consider it relies on independent data centers distributed globally. So while like many blockchain, let's say, are aiming decentralization, this is really difficult to achieve. So yet many blockchains are getting challenged to do that because a lot of them are still run predominantly on cloud services like AWS or Microsoft, Google Cloud. Perhaps each node provider might be different, but they're kind of on same cloud service. It's challenging. So they're like you can see that like a different blockchain ecosystem going to be decentralizing their infrastructure in different way. And here it comes there like there's decentralized data center plays a role here. Another is like a node and subnets. So each node is a physical machine running specialized software, which is ICP protocol. And then so it's kind of participating to the protocol. And these nodes are managed by a node provider. And it's also distributed across the world. How like what node going to be included or not, those kind of things are all done by the governance, which coming into the later points of like an NNS system. Subnets is nodes being grouped into like a group of subnet, which kind of you can think it as a like essentially this is the independent blockchain itself. So each subnet is replicated state machine where every node performs the same computation on the same state. So this ICP consists of many subnets. There's one special subnet which is serving NNS. Otherwise, like there's a multiple subnets around. It allows us to scale horizontally by adding nodes and subnets. While how to be added, those are like going through the governance. And then what's next is like chain key cryptography. This is quite important thing. If you're not a computer science person, or like if you're gonna be like cryptography, don't be scared. I'm not cryptography person either. What we're gonna focus on here is like we focus on like high level what it is about and what kind of feature it brings, not like going through the mathematics scheme. So chain key cryptography is the fundamental technology enabling seamless communication between subnets, which is utilizing over chain fusion as well. It uses a threshold signature scheme where the secret key is split into shares distributed across the different nodes. Like if this doesn't ring a bell, it's all fine. What we want to understand is this is one of the main core technology being used for this chain. Otherwise, like next one gonna be canister. This one I really recommend. Either you are like a deep developer side or not, I really recommend to watch the canister. This is our previous education series. You can look into, not now, please go there later, but this is the smart contract on steroids, which is very funny now because canister is really powerful smart contract. So canister is the advanced form of the smart contracts unique to ICP. So it combines code and state in one place and are assigned to specific subnets. And canisters can communicate with each other across subnet, enhancing the functionality and scalability of application built on ICP. There's a few key features you can look into. It's like a WASM modules. So if you're familiar to WebAssembly, so they're like it's compared from high-level programming language, and then like it also has a reverse gas model, which is quite unique. So I guess every one of you know what is gas. You heard about it. So if there you are, people said like, oh, gas is too high, we cannot do this XYZ, right? So in ICP, canister offer reverse gas model. How does it work? You as a developer or someone making an app can put some gas in it in advance. You should, so that users don't need to hold any tokens to use your service. So if you want to make some app using blockchain Rails, but it doesn't need to ask users to understand blockchain itself, which is many cases, right? Some mass adoption apps, we don't need to ask users to, what is blockchain, but they just need to use it. Then Canister offer this reverse gas model that they don't need to understand crypto at all. They can just use things. All the gas transactions, what happened? You charge the gas as a developer in advance there, which, of course, if you made a service which people are going to be paying for, you got paid and you're going to get the gas and you're going to refill that. So reverse gas model doesn't mean that you will not get rewarded. It's more like you can give a different degree of freedom of users when they're getting onboarded to using blockchain app, because they actually don't need to have even crypto wallet for that. And then because Canister has like a very strong computing power, so Canister operate the web speed with a transaction finality of about like 2 seconds now. They can also store significant amounts of data, very comparable to others. With current capability is like a nearly 100 gigabytes per canister, which is really huge, and it's going to be increased to terabytes in the future. So canister you can consider kind of like a computing machine. So you might be like using canister in chain fusion context. If you have an app on EVM, perhaps you link to canister, and canister is going to be your own chain computer. So that's the power of the canister. If you're interested in, please look into the workshop. That's really, really like a great one to get into the canister in depth. And of course, like a canister has another feature, which is like very like ICP. I bet is it can call external Web2 services directly. So they're like it kind of reduces barrier if you want to build something, and also like so there, for example, you don't need to use Oracle. Rather, you're gonna read the messages from Web2 directly. So this is the overall like a canister. And then network nervous system is more about the governance side. So on-chain governance system, which manage the ICP, is called network nervous system, NNS. It includes the decision of subnet creation, which we talked about in nodes and subnet before, protocol upgrades, or node replacement, and so on. So that if you're interested in, please search NNS and go to the governance. You can participate there, which means that, you can vote and contribute to the future of the ecosystem. So this is the overall architecture of the internet computer. And if you want to learn general internet computer more in depth, we have like 1 hour session previously given by Moritz. So also like feel free to check it out. And all of them is actually in the same like recording list. So you can go through like 8 different sessions, which has been given last time. Now, next gonna be ICP and cycle. This is very important as well. So guess what? What is ICP and cycle? Perhaps many of you are going to be like, okay, ICP perhaps is the ticker of the token. What is the cycle? So ICP is right. It's the token, which is the native currency, cryptocurrency of the internet computer protocol ecosystem. It serves the multiple essential functions within the network. Maybe like I will give you 2 seconds, think about what ICP can actually do in this ecosystem. So first is, as we talked about, governance participation. So ICP token can be staked in the NNS, the network nervous system, and then you can participate to the governance, which is like quite common to other like ecosystem as well. And of course, like it in itself, it's like storing the value. So ICP also function as the, like a value-bearing assets, and then it enables you to invest in various decentralized applications and services running on ICP. But what is cycle and what ICP is doing with the cycle? If you remember the reverse guess model, so like there's a kind of guess, and the guess of ICP ecosystem, you can think it as a cycle. So cycle, you can get cycle by burning ICP. So you can convert ICP token to cycle, and then you can use for its transactions and so on. Just be careful that you cannot turn cycle back to ICP. So you can only do ICP to cycle. And once ICP is turned into cycle going to be consumed only through the transactions in the ecosystem. So this is going to be very naturally like, deflationary ecosystem. So ICP itself, like, so how cycle is used is very similar to like how gas works in Ethereum. Just the difference is the reverse gas model, that instead of like users going to be paying for the cycle, if you're building an app on Canister, let's say you're going to be charging the cycle there, so users can use your app without having wallet even, if you don't make it as a wallet connect problem, so they can just use the app directly. And once, if you need more cycle, you're going to be, burning your ICP token into cycle and charge them again. Cool. And then as cycle pays all the computational resources needed by smart contracts, which going to be, consumed by time. So as mentioned, the total supply of ICP should be over time reducing, because ICP should turn into cycle and being used. Some unique and other advanced IC features, which some of them we just quickly went through them. So true, there is a very bad typo, bad case. So unique and advanced IC features, we will go through quickly, which is HTTP out calls, canister on the internet computer can directly make HTTP requests to external Web 2 servers. So as we said, we will not require oracles for that, so that you can let's say interact with off-chain data directly. And also you can see that some of the project which is already using HTTP out calls. I'm gonna drop another link here so that people can watch. Again, I will not go into detail, as we have amazing 1-hour workshop over there, so you can check it out, which has been given by engineer directly. Another thing is Bitcoin integration. Oh, and thank you, Matthias. And Nevin going to be making amazing magic on editing, so that we will be fixing our video. Chain key is CDSA. We just went through chain key signature as well. So this enables Canister in general natively hold and transact with not only between subnets. In Chain Fusion context, you're going to see that it enable interacting with Bitcoin and Ethereum, other chains using ECDS signatures. So that's another interesting point to look into. Following the Bitcoin integration, Ethereum integration has happened. So Bitcoin integration, this has been covered last time very in detail, which you're going to see same speaker again next time. Next one, Dieter, going to be coming to giving an update on Ethereum side, because last year it was not yet there. So you can see Canister can receive and hold and send Bitcoin directly with transaction on the Bitcoin network. And there's already some projects making, let's say some marketplaces for the ordinal, or like all the other bets coming up. Same with the Ethereum integration. Similar to that, like canister on IC can also integrate the network directly. Not only like Ethereum itself, like a kind of EVM chains. We're gonna have some other bits coming up in terms of like a CK-ETH workshop, and also potentially we're gonna have some EVM RPC related workshop coming up. So all those gonna be explaining about Bitcoin integration, Ethereum integration, and more chain coming. If you go to the official website, I think you can already see the mark there that Solana integration coming up. So please stay tuned. And again, very fiable encrypted threshold keys, which is like a another very important point. So this enable end-to-end encryption for data stored within the canister, very important for the encryption, as well as the functionality, like, you can kind of use different types of like services utilizing this, time lock encryption, or like Datman switches, this kind of stuff. And internet identity, another one. We have an amazing workshop from last time. This is very unique feature. So the user-friendly authentication system using fingerprint sensors, Face ID, such as like you can use your laptop directly. By using hardware-backed security, not only it's secure, also it makes it easier for some users who are not crypto native. So if you're creating internet identity, you can experience this there like it works really like slick. You just go and create, and you will make your you will use your Face ID, and boom, you have the identity. So this allow you having cryptographic pseudonyms very easily by just like going through this like process. So please check it out. As a developer, you want to see that how to utilize this for your users, easily getting onboarded to your product, so that they can have identity easier on chain without them understanding crypto wallets and every bit. And then they can use your app because they also don't need to pay for cycle from their side. So this is the interesting part. So this is what ICP is about, and all the important bits of the core tag, you can actually go to the previous workshop to check it out. Now, what is Chain Fusion? So some of you may heard of Chain Fusion, some of you may not. If you didn't, actually quite normal, because Chain Fusion was not a thing before. So it's not like a technology that just technology was around. And we were like, everyone discussing like how to make it easier to understand. So what is the first image coming to your mind when you hear Fusion? Think. And it can explain a lot about your age, I think. So for me, this is the image of the Fusion. So what it does is not that different from actually Chain Fusion. I actually didn't ask ICP team if I can use this image, so they may not agree. But in my word of the full of fun. So what Chain Fusion is actually a very powerful tool to make whatever chain you're working on. You can utilize ICP's like powerful feature, like utilize this canister, the smart contract with the steroid, to make things working. So either you make ICP as the main, or like either you have an app on other chain, but using this canister for your own chain computer. What can happen is this, like you merge, you don't actually merge them, but you're gonna merge their power so that your app is much more powerful. So ICP itself is providing robust architecture and features by those canister and all the other cryptographic promises. And Chain Fusion is a framework so that chain key signature or direct network integration. If you talk about this, a lot of users or people, or even developers who didn't jump into the rabbit hole yet, going to be talking about what is the chain key signature? What does it do? Actually, it doesn't really come to our it doesn't ring a bell. So the Chain Fusion is the framework designed to enhance the understanding of the in general people. What it does is it's facilitating seamless multi-chain interactions, all the technologies, applications around, we call it as a Chain Fusion. So it leverages the IC's a capability to provide all those multi-chain applications in one basket to explain. Its main building blocks are a decentralized bidirectional communication between different chains, so the Bitcoin to ICP or Ethereum to ICP you can talk, or the ability of the IC smart contracts to sign and submit transactions to other chain, and utilize Canister's powerful features to help the app. So here I found a very nice tree representing the core concept of the chain fusion, presented by Aisling, which is the who is the DFINITY engineer in the April community call, I think. So I got the image from her, which is a simplified version. There's a little bit bigger tree, but I took the simplified version here to get the concept right in our heads. So if you're talking about chain fusion, it can be technological aspect, it can be application aspect. So if you're a developer, okay, so what does chain fusion has and what kind of thing I need to look into in terms of technology? You're going to look into chain key signature or network integration. If someone is saying that, what does chain fusion do? And then we're going to talk about CK tokens, CK BTC, CK ETH, and all these bits, and also like different applications, which I think one of the member was asking if you're going to see some projects, I think Ian, right? So that those applications going to be coming next during the education series. So chain key signature, we already repeated a few times that it's using the advanced cryptographic schemes, including TEC-DSA to secure signed transactions across the different blockchain directly is the important part. And the network integration is like which providing direct integration with various blockchain networks, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, without intermediaries or bridges. So they're like it kind of provides certain security promises by eliminating bridges. So they're like you can focus on direct integration only. And then also like this itself, network integration enables ICP smart contracts to query data and smart contracts from other blockchain validated by ICP consensus reading from other blockchains. So in general, like what it does is like enable any types of interaction between ICP and other chains by using chain key signature and network integration. Some example are going to come in next workshop. So next workshop by Dieter Zomer going to be chain key signature and CK ETH part, because we already learned about BTC last time, which is the new updates. And then potentially happening within this educate or in following hackathon in the hackathon is EVM RPC, which is one of the part of network integration. So Ryan, who has been working on from the DFINITY Foundation, who has been working on EVM RPC integration. So you can look into that and you can potentially use that in your hackathon project to build something very cool. So the overall benefits of this is like, of course, like enhanced interoperability, and then like some user experience, right? If you're having like multiple tokens around, or if I have like if I have my wallet or like an identity at ICP, but also I want to participate DAO and Ethereum ecosystem and Solana ecosystem, then you can think about building a multi-chain app. So user don't need to worry about talking to different chain, but rather like using one to communicate to all, which can reduce the complexity and the cost as well. And then it can have some security promises coming that as it eliminates like certain steps or like such as like bridges. We don't need to rely on that, which is going to be reducing certain types of vulnerabilities. And then when it comes to the application is the CK tokens. I guess you heard about CK BTC, CK ETH. So like, oh, that's exactly Bitcoin, but that ecosystem people telling, that's what I heard, like a misperception going around. So it's not the case. So CK is of course, the abbreviation of the chain key. So CK BTC and CK ETH, you're going to look into more in detail in previous workshop or upcoming workshop. So I will not go into detail, but this is allowing us making, Ethereum or Bitcoin transactions within the ICP ecosystem. You can look into it, like how can you also mint. Previous our education series, if you follow that, if I'm not mistaken, never like we had like homework, people can have like testnet minting CKBTC, right? So you can have a fun experience following workshops that you can mint your own CKBTC on testnet as well. Another thing is the application. So applications are what kind of things we can build, of course. There's like multiple ideas to build. Currently, we invited certain projects who are already built so that they can demonstrate something to you, such as Omnity team going to be Omnity is an interoperability protocol leveraging ICP, which they're going to be presenting about building social file on Bitcoin, or like a B4B going to be coming, influencer reputation protocol, or like a chain side, like who are introducing oracles on EVM. You can see there like a you can utilize such like data processing layer for governance-less DeFi, let's say. A weight chain team going to be coming, the topic about multi-chain bridge powered by TCDSA, which is really smart and interesting topic, especially if you're interested in cryptographic scheme, because using ECDSA signature on non-ECDSA chain, how complicated it is and how complicated it is to pronounce. So please look into it, which is another very, very smart project. And there's a lot of different bits, as I said, Bitcoin Ordinary Marketplace, which is the Bionic, or like there's some kind of different exchange services or DEX people are working on. So please look into it. Another very interesting case I would recommend, which is in education series, is multi-chain DAO, which is going to be almost the latest one, if I'm not mistaken. So that one, please stay tuned. So more to come in the technology side. TCDSA going to have some improvements, and then T-Schnorr integration come. If you are not sure what T-Schnorr means, you perhaps want to just check it out. I will just drop the spell perhaps, because actually if it's your first time, you're going to be like what it actually means. Another cryptographic scheme. So they're like that integration going to be happening. More CK token. Just 5 days ago, I think ICP announced the CK USDC. So you can see that more like a CK tokens coming up, and more RPC connectivity going to be provided. Coming up, that they're going to be one of the workshop like EVM RPC going to be happening, hopefully. So you're going to enjoy them a lot. Now let's go to, so that this is something we already like kind of went through, so that I want to summarize and going through one more that like what Chain Fusion is enabling. And then also this is like a nice graph, like you can see the dev document. Let me just drop the dev document. So this one, of course, you don't need to stick to only Chain Fusion part. Please play around, but I will send a link, which is redirecting to you the multi-chain Chain Fusion directly. You can consider Chain Fusion as a, the common word we're going to be keep using while URL say like a multi-chain. Another thing is also if you have any question, or if you want to see what kind of development is going in real time, this is the developer forum you can jump into and joining the discussions. So what is Chain Fusion enabling? So we already talked about interoperability. There's two different aspects I want to highlight. One is the Web3 aspect and one is Web2 aspect. So Web3 aspect, Chain Fusion enables canister to interact with a multiple chain, right? Like a Bitcoin, Ethereum coming up with a Solana and so on. So they it ensures that seamless data and value transfer across chain, which means that you can making a really powerful app which can work with a lot of chains at once. Another thing is not only those Web3 side, Web2 side, so that using HTTP out calls, you can permit canisters to reach out to any web service in a replicated fashion. So using deterministic response result, Chain Fusion itself going to be like bridging interoperability, not only the Web3, but kind of Web2, Web3 stacks. So with the ICP, you can talk to other chain and you can talk to other Web2 services, so that your app going to be more like complete, depending on what you want to build. And then enhanced smart contracts, which is Canister this case. So Canister going to be providing different strength, as itself. And when it meets the Chain Fusion, it offer very interesting value. One is like we talked about on-chain computing power. So you may heard about a lot that like why we would make fully on-chain game, why we going to make NFT collection and then like a random function, why we going to run it on-chain, because this is going to be very expensive. So typical NFT collection, what happened is you actually run the random function off-chain. You already have preset decided, put it to the IPFS. So once when you mint the NFT collection, it's kind of the random, but not random, because it's randomly created, but the randomness is already decided before you mint. So you are minting just in order, but it's not the image is not decided when you are minting. It's already decided. So the order is already decided. So if someone actually know the image order, they can exactly grab the NFT they want, right? But if the reason people are doing it is not because it's corrupted or people are like not aware of like what to do. It's rather sometimes on-chain computation is just not worth it to pay because it's too expensive. But if you use a canister, let's say you're building some like an EVM app which need a certain like a random functions, and you want to have it like fully on chain. Nice example could be like game, right? I don't know, depending on where you're based. I'm Korean, based in Germany. As a Korean growing up in Korea, we play a lot of game, and gacha is very popular, that you're going to keep opening the items in your game to get some like very low probability, with a low probability. And sometimes game companies got very pushed by audience a lot that please open the formula, how much randomness or like how much probability I have to receive the legend item, let's say. So if you use the kind of on-chain computing, that can be quite interesting solution for that. So if you are considering building something and you were thinking of chain computing instead of on-chain computing because it's expensive, maybe you want to use Canister for your app. And then like a canister itself, like already have like timers, which let canisters manage tasks by initiating specific actions periodically without external actors, which can kind of make you a certain autonomy within your app. And then like a UX can be very like Web2, as not only it can call to Web2 service directly, so you can kind of host your Web2 like HTTP like front end on chain. So you can have like on-chain front end with like a lot of different Web2 integration. And then not only like having it within the ICP, the part of the beauty of Chain Fusion is you can have all these features like across the different chain, which of course make us having improved user experience. And then of course, if you are a new developer, and then if you want to build some app talking to a lot of different chains, but of course you don't want to learn 5 different ecosystems, 5 different language, then of course it provides a unified development environment, because using one, and then you can try to connect them by using ICP canister. And of course, we already talked about like reducing certain types of vulnerability by reducing the steps like breach. So like you can expect some increased security feature there. I think that's the overall part of like what it promises. Perhaps you might be curious about certain use cases. You can also look into the Chain Fusion documentation in the developer docs or main page as well. I just grabbed like one of the very interesting cases, let's say, trustless cron job service. So many Ethereum smart contracts, depending on periodic activation of certain functions, such as like a loan liquidation or batching. So these kind of things are usually happening, let's say, via like external centralized service, let's say. So perhaps you want to use Canister and making trustless cron job service, which is going to be a very interesting use case. So far, I don't think there's a specific ecosystem project which is let's say live on that aspect, so maybe you want to look into it. Another thing is, of course, like a use on-chain front end. It's not like a on-chain front end itself is not an app itself, but for your apps, you can utilize ICP for your on-chain front end, or utilize it as an on-chain coprocessor. This one, I really strongly recommend to look into it. As I really love game, I want to see that somebody's building a fully on-chain game. Why it makes sense? Of course, I don't want to see like on-chain game, which doesn't make sense. Then why do you make that expensive on-chain computing without a reason, right? So if you look into the canister, so even though you are building perhaps your game on other chain, using canister as your powerful computing source, so that you can have much more things, or like even like fully on-chain dApp for games or any other bits. Otherwise, like some more other typical example you can easily think is like, multi-chain wallet. I think easy to think about it, difficult to making really good wallet. So I would say like worthy to try, to make even better like a wallet. Perhaps not noble idea, but it's very difficult to building a good wallet. So in browser, multi-chain wallet going to be very interesting. Of course, like multi-chain DeFi project going to be very popular. We talked about DAO and voting. So if people are more and more active on chain, of course, the people want to aggregate the information of my on-chain activity in one place. So maybe you want to look into that as well. I think that's pretty much it in terms of what Chain Fusion promises to us. My little next thing gonna be sharing the strong community of the DFINITY. Already Neven shared the Encode Club where we are from, so please join our Discord and everything. Maybe Neven can drop the Discord server link one more time and the Twitter link for Encode Club. This too is the ICP community support. One is like a community Discord. So when you join there, they're gonna give you like a specific channel you can ask questions. And if I'm not mistaken, every Wednesday on the Discord, they're going to be office hour as well. So if you're a developer, if you want to talk to engineers directly asking questions, that's the perfect place. If you're looking for some other ICP people within your area, please go to ICP Hub. There's a lot of local hub there. I think recently many hub had a 3rd-year anniversary party together, having a beer together. So look into the ICP Hub and you can meet people as well. And then, of course, there's a lot of different activities coming this year. Let's say Bitcoin Asia, Bitcoin Nashville, ICP team going to be there. ECC is another really huge Ethereum conference, which Encode Club going to be there as well. ICP team going to be there as well, having very, very big projects. So please check it out. And coming up, Singapore blockchain week and more, a lot of different events going to be coming up. If you're based there or if you're going to any events, please let us know so that Encode Club or like an ICP team can have a chat with you. Another thing, if Chain Fusion is something very interesting to you, please follow all this education series, which is the 8 sessions. We put a lot of effort making a great speaker lineup for you guys. Not only this, if you are quite active on Twitter, you can also look into the Chain Fusion space happening every Monday on ICP Twitter space. So there are amazing moderator Kyle from DFINITY team. He is talking about a lot of new things about Chain Fusion with the newest projects in the scene. So that's something you might be interested to check it out. I just saw the question from Josh about open chat community page. I am not so sure. So I would Neven quickly search around. Otherwise, expect that we're gonna provide all those links on Discord server as well. It's not yeah. If you're talking about our community page, we don't have open chat community page, but mainly we are active on Discord and Twitter itself. Yeah, yet. I never say never. So let's see. Otherwise, I think that's pretty much it in terms of what is the ICP and Chain Fusion, so that I wanted to provide a high-level overview. After this session, if you said there oh my God, I know everything about ICP, and then all the cryptographic scheme is in my head, just I understand everything, which is impossible. If it's like that, no, please don't do it. That's delulu. But otherwise, if you are okay, now I see there's some keywords of this ecosystem. I think I need to read a little bit more about chain key signature, what it is. I think I need to perhaps look into the multi-chain DAO. That's the goal of this session, which is going to be followed by technical deep dive to the chain key signature and also CKE integration. If you're interested in, of course, please look into the other education series as well. And we're going to be perhaps sharing a little more detail about what's coming, including the hackathon. Because if you are not aware of yet, hackathon is coming up. After ECC, we're going to have a hackathon. If you go to ECC, please find us. That can be the first week of the hackathon, which you can get a lot of alpha from our mentors and everything. Otherwise, please keep sending over the questions to the Discord, so we will be answering. Today, right after this workshop, actually my car is waiting. I will be jump into the car and go to the Prague because I will be at East Prague. If you're there by any chance, please catch me so that we can meet up. This is my last thing. See you in Prague. That's my, of course, X handle of the X handle. Sounds so weird. Twitter handle. I just don't agree. It's called X. So Eomji Park. Find me on Twitter so that feel free to send me the message, especially if you're around the conference where I am, Encode Club. So that stay tuned all our program, and DFINITY Dev, so that you can get all the updates regarding developer news. And please join us in different events together. I think that's pretty much it, and I hope I help you to get some, more interest in Chain Fusion and overall ICP ecosystem. And looking forward to see you. And please stay tuned.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I think that pretty much brings us to the end. Thank you very much to Eomji once again for the amazing workshop, and thank you to all of you for coming and listening to what she has to say. Yeah, Eomji sort of said it. See you on Thursday for the next event, a technical deep dive into Chain Fusion by DFINITY's Dieter Sommer. Until then, see ya and have a lovely rest of your day. Bye.